This was the first occasion on which the vast superiority of the Russian T-34 tank became plain. The short 75mm gun of our Panzer IV was only effective if it could manage to hit the enemy tank from the rear. We had nothing comparable.
Section 1. The Masters of the Blitzkrieg, June 23, 1941. 5:30 hours, near Ryazan, Lithuania. The dust is already a living thing. It clings to Lieutenant Otto Kessler's sweat-soaked uniform, fills his mouth with grit, and turns the rising sun into a hazy copper disc. Below him, the steel hull of his Panzer III Ausf. Vibrates, the Maybach engine thrumming with a reliable, reassuring rhythm. For 3 days, this sound has been the anthem of their advance. Kessler, commander of Panzer 321, 6th Panzer Division, is a man forged in victory. He saw Poland crumble in weeks. He watched the invincible French army dissolve before his very eyes, his panzer columns knifing through the Ardennes like a scalpel. He and his men are the vanguard of the Wehrmacht, the greatest army the world has ever seen. Their weapon, the Panzer III, is a masterpiece of German engineering. Their tactics, the Blitzkrieg, are unanswerable. "Driver, halt!" Kessler's voice, sharp and clear through the throat mic. The tank lurches to a stop at the crest of a low ridge. Kessler raises his binoculars. Below them, a dirt road winds through fields of tall rye, dotted with burning farmhouses. This is Russland, primitive, vast, and so far, laughably weak. His gunner, Heinz, taps the breech of his main weapon. "Another day, Lieutenant? More T-26s for us?" Kessler smirks. The Soviet tanks they've met so far have been a joke. Thinly armored T-26s and fast but fragile BT-7s. Their crews call them Blechbuchsen, tin cans. Kessler's own tank mounts the 37mm KWK-36 cannon. It's a superb weapon, fast-firing, laser-accurate. Against the paper-thin armor of the Soviet tanks, its high-velocity Panzergranat 39 shells are devastating. It's the same gun as the infantry's standard anti-tank gun, the Pak-36. The men have a fond nickname for it, the Horizonklopfgerät, the army door knocker. One knock, and the door always opens. "They're running," Kessler says, lowering his binoculars. "All they do is run. Look!" In the distance, a column of dust moves east. Soviet infantry, disorganized, routed. Signal the others, advance in line. We'll sweep this valley and be in Ryazan by noon. The other 2 Panzer IIIs in his platoon move up, fanning out. The advance resumes. The heat inside the turret is already building, the air thick with the smell of oil, steel, and stale sweat. Heinz, the gunner, squints through his TZF-5A gun sight, his hand resting on the firing mechanism. They are the predators. They are the tip of the spear. They are invincible. A message crackles over the radio from the company commander. Enemy armor spotted, 2 kilometers, bearing 080. Looks like something new. Engage at will. Kessler feels a prickle of interest, not fear. "Something new?" he mutters. "Maybe they've sent out their parade tanks." He scans the bearing. At first, nothing. Just a line of trees. Then, something moves. It emerges from the shadow of the woods, rumbling across the field. It's low, angled, and ugly. It has none of the refined, sharp angles of a German Panzer. It looks crude, almost unfinished. It's painted a flat, drab green, and it's moving fast. "Gunner, target," Kessler orders, his voice still casual. Distance 800 meters. Armor piercing. Fire when ready. Heinz traverses the turret, the small 37mm gun aligning on the center mass of the new tank. Target acquired, Heinz grunts. Foyer. Section 2. The door knocker fails. The 37mm cannon cracks. A sharp, familiar report. The small, cramped turret of the Panzer III fills with the acrid smell of burnt cordite. Kessler keeps his binoculars locked on the target, watching the tiny, bright tracer of the Panzer Granada shell arc across the 800 meters. It's a perfect hit, dead center on the enemy's front plate. Kessler waits for the blossom of flame, the puff of black smoke, the sight of a hatch flying open and the crew bailing out. Nothing. There is a brief, metallic spark, and the shell vanishes. It's as if it simply splashed against the hull and evaporated. A ricochet? Heinz mutters, his voice tight with confusion. He automatically works the breech, ejecting the smoking shell casing, which clatters onto the floor. Reloaded. On target. Fire again. Kessler snaps, his confidence wavering. Crack. Another perfect shot. Again, the tracer flies true. Again, it strikes the tank's sloped frontal armor. And again. Ping. It ricochets, screaming off into the sky. The Soviet tank doesn't even slow down. It just keeps coming, plowing through the rye, closing the distance with terrifying speed. 700 meters, 600 meters. What is this? Kessler yells, his voice a strained mix of anger and dawning fear. It's not stopping. Heinz, fire. Fire at will. Crack. A third shot. It bounces. Crack. A fourth. It glances off the rounded, crude turret. The other two Panzer IIIs in Kessler's platoon open fire. A frantic, desperate plink, plink, plink of 37mm shells can be heard across the field, all of them bouncing harmlessly off the green monster. The Army door knocker is failing. It's not even scratching the paint. Inside the T-34, Senior Sergeant Stepan Lyabushkin is deafened by the sound of spall. The German 37mm shells, while not penetrating, are striking his tank with the force of giant hammers. Inside the turret, it sounds like a cathedral bell being struck from the outside. Tiny, white-hot flakes of his own tank's armor are flying off the interior wall, stinging his face. But the armor is holding. His driver, gripping the two control levers, grins back at him, his teeth white in his grime-covered face. "They can't hurt us, Sergeant." Lyabushkin ignores him. He is pressing his forehead against the rough rubber pad of his gun sight. His main weapon is not a precise, small-caliber pea shooter. It is the L-11, a short, brutal 76.2mm cannon. It is a field gun, crammed into a tank turret. Through the sight, he sees one of the German tanks, small and boxy, halted on the ridge. "Distance 500, he shouts to his gunner. "Target, lead tank, high explosive, fire." Kessler sees a flash from the barrel of the Soviet tank. A huge orange muzzle blast. A moment later, the world dissolves. Whoomp! The shell doesn't hit them. It hits Panzer 323, the tank on Kessler's right. The high explosive round strikes the Panzer III's thin 30mm frontal plate. It doesn't need to penetrate. The sheer concussive force blows the turret clean off its ring. It lands, upside down, 10 meters away in the field. The hull, a blazing wreck, rolls to a stop. Kessler stares, his mouth open, paralyzed by the sudden, horrific violence. "Driver, reverse! Reverse!" he screams into the mic. "Gunner, smoke! Fire smoke!" But the T-34 is already traversing. Another flash. This time the shell is armor-piercing. It hits Panzer 321. It doesn't bounce. It doesn't spark. It punches through the front of Kessler's turret as if it were cheesecloth, vaporizes his loader in a red mist, and explodes against the engine block. The last thing Otto Kessler ever feels is a wave of impossible, searing heat. Section 3. Our guns are useless. All along the 2,000-mile front, from the Baltic to the Black Sea, the story repeats itself. Near Minsk, General Major Friedrich Kirchner, commander of the 17th Panzer Division, receives a frantic, almost incoherent radio message from one of his lead battalions. Heavy enemy tanks. We are firing. No effect. No effect. They are overrunning us. A report lands on the desk of General Heinz Guderian, the father of the Blitzkrieg himself. He reads it, and then reads it again, his blood running cold. An infantry division, equipped with the standard 3.7-centimeter PaK-36 anti-tank guns, had engaged a group of the new Soviet tanks. The crews had performed flawlessly. They held their nerve, waiting for the tanks to get close. They opened fire at point-blank range less than 100 meters. The Panzer grenaded shells, fired at maximum velocity, struck the enemy tanks and bounced off. The T-34s didn't even bother to stop. They just rolled forward, crushing the guns and their crews under their massive wide tracks. The reports become a flood. Our guns are useless. Requesting 88mm flak guns. Nothing else will stop them. The 3.7-centimeter PaK is nothing but a door knocker. The crews are calling it a tank terror whistle. This is a crisis of faith. The entire German doctrine is built on speed, aggression, and technological superiority. The Panzer III is meant to kill other tanks. The Panzer IV, with its short-barreled 75mm gun, is an infantry support tank, designed to fire high-explosive shells at bunkers and gun nests. Its low-velocity, armor-piercing round is even less effective against the T-34's slope than the 37mm. The German tankers, once the undisputed knights of the battlefield, are now forced into desperate, suicidal tactics. They find they can kill the T-34, but only in two ways. First, get so close, 300, 200, even 100 meters, that they can attempt a flank shot, aiming for the thinner side armor. But this is a deadly gamble. The T-34 is faster, more maneuverable on rough terrain thanks to its wide tracks and Christie suspension, and its 76.2mm gun can destroy a Panzer III from over a kilometer away. It's an unfair duel. Second, a Wolfpack tactic. 4 or 5 Panzer IIIs must swarm a single T-34, firing from all directions, confusing its crew, hoping one shell will find a weak spot, a turret ring, a track, a rear engine grate. It is a costly, brutal form of attrition. They are trading 5 of their Panzers for one of theirs. These are not the mathematics of victory. By August 1941, Guderian, deeply alarmed, flies to Hitler's headquarters at Rostenburg. He brings with him the after-action reports. He bypasses the usual chain of command and confronts the Führer directly. He explains that the Wehrmacht has lost its technological edge, that a primitive, subhuman enemy has, in total secrecy, produced a war-winning weapon. Hitler at first dismisses it as exaggeration, but the reports are too numerous, the losses too high. A special commission, the Panzer Commission, is formed. Top German engineers and designers, including Ferdinand Porsche, and representatives from Daimler-Benz and MAN, are ordered to the Eastern Front immediately. Their mission: capture one of these new T-34 tanks, study it, and build something to defeat it. Or, failing that, copy it. The masters of the Blitzkrieg, the designers of the perfect Panzer, have just been sent back to school. Section 4. The Shock of Inspection. October 1941. Kummersdorf Proving Ground, Germany. The first captured T-34s arrive on heavy flatbed rail cars. They are scarred, pockmarked from dozens of 37mm and 50mm shell impacts, but functionally intact. The engineers of the Panzer Commission, men who represent the pinnacle of German industrial design, gather around the Soviet machine, walking around it in stunned silence. It is everything their design philosophy is not. Where German panzers have fine, interlocking high-quality road wheels. The T-34 has huge, roughly cast, simple steel-rimmed wheels. Where German armor is made of high-quality, face-hardened vertical plates, meticulously welded and bolted, the T-34's armor is sloped. This is the secret. It's a simple, brutal, geometric trick. One of the engineers, holding a set of calipers, measures the front plate. It is only 45 millimeters thick, he says, almost to himself. A Wehrmacht officer scoffs. Only 45? Our Panzer IV has 50 millimeters. It should be no problem. No, Herr Oberst, the engineer replies, holding a diagram. It is 45 millimeter, but it is sloped at 60 degrees. To penetrate it, a shell must travel through almost 90 millimeters of effective armor. Our 37 millimeters cannot do this. Even our new 50 millimeter KWK-38 cannon, it will struggle. It will most likely deflect. The revelation is horrifying. The Soviets haven't just used more steel, they have used smarter steel. Then, they open the engine hatch. The engineers are prepared to find a crude, agricultural tractor engine. Instead, they find the Model V2. It is a 39-liter V12 diesel engine made almost entirely of aluminum. This is a lightweight, powerful, high-torque engine, the kind of advanced power plant Germany has been reserving for its Luftwaffe and Navy, not for a mass-produced peasant tank. It gives the T-34 its incredible speed, its long range, and its unmatched power-to-weight ratio. The final insult is the main gun. They inspect the 76.2 millimeter cannon. It's crude. The finishing is rough, but it's effective. It fires a massive shell that can kill a Panzer III or IV from any angle, at any survivable combat range. The Commission's report is blunt and terrifying. General Guderian summarizes it. This is the finest tank in the world. It is fast, it has an ideal diesel engine, and its sloped armor is revolutionary. He makes a recommendation that sends shockwaves through the high command. We must copy it. Cease all current Panzer development and copy this tank, part for part. But for the German high command, this is a matter of pride. They cannot, will not, mass-produce a subhuman Slavic design. The order is given. Do not copy it. Beat it. The arms race has begun. The immediate, desperate stopgap is to upgun the existing Panzer IV. The short 75 millimeter infantry gun is ripped out. In its place, engineers scramble to mount a new, long-barreled, high-velocity 75 millimeter KWK-40 cannon, a gun powerful enough to finally punch through the T-34's slope, but only at medium range. But this is just a patch. A bigger, better solution is needed. Drawing directly from the lessons learned from the T-34, the designers at MAN begin work on a new Mittlerer Panzerträger, medium tank carrier. It will have a high-velocity 75 millimeter gun. It will have a powerful Maybach engine, and, for the first time in German design, it will have radically sloped armor. They will call it the Panzer V, the Panther.